Hello. So, my name's Nick Oyan, and I'm in a Caribou right now, inside, and it's cold. It's freezing outside, and it's still even cold inside. And I'm sitting here thinking, where, where am I gonna go? What can I do to improve this situation? Because I love Minnesota. The summers in Minnesota are amazing. Um, I have grew up going to lakes and beaches, climbing trees, playing sports, you name it. I've done all types of recreational activities, and the summers are just absolutely gorgeous time to do that. Um, and I know that a lot of people like winter activities too. I've been snowboarding, snowmobiling, ice fishing, cross country skiing, snow tubing is pretty fun. I've had a fun life. I never got into hockey. That was never something that I felt a drive to do. Um, I know it's kind of one of the more expensive sports too. Uh, so it just it just wasn't the priority for me or my family to do hockey. I remember in the winter time I would do things like wrestling. We have this big dome in Vadnais Heights, which is right next to White Bear, and we would play baseball in that dome during the winter. Or there's like soccer stuff going on there too, but baseball was probably one of my number one sports growing up. Um, it's been a long time since I played catch or swung a bat. I mean, I've been to batting cages like kind of recently actually, but um, to be on like the baseball diamond, have someone pitch a ball, it's a challenging but rewarding experience. I remember I kind of felt confident, at least I could hold my own on any given team when it came to batting. But later, as I got older and pitchers of the opposing team started getting better, they started throwing it faster. They started doing curveballs. That's kind of when I really had to reflect on, like, is this something that I can keep up with? I didn't have any coaches that were training me how to get better at batting. Um, I would ask some of my other teammates questions about batting, but I never really got to that level to be able to bat against that kind of caliber of a pitch. So I stopped playing baseball in probably around my first or second year of high school, and then I started playing ultimate frisbee in the summer. Um, I was very excited by ultimate frisbee. It was a new sport for me. It was with a group of guys that I enjoyed spending time with. Um, the camaraderie of ultimate frisbee was more than any sport that I'd played before. There was a real emphasis on like team bonding, and we conditioned ourselves with practice with running. I got really good at running. I was fast. I mean, we had cleats on the field. We would have to lay out for the disc. We even practiced laying out for the disc, and you could really tell who like was good at throwing the disc, like who was well practiced at it, because it's one of those skills that you really can like hone and perfect the more you practice it. Um, so like my first year playing ultimate frisbee, I wasn't a handler, which is kind of like the quarterbacks on the field. I was a cutter, which is like a wide receiver. So like we would practice running plays like streaks down the field, or cutting back, whatever. I mean, we had names for all the different types of maneuvers that we would run, and then there was always somebody on the defense trying to intercept the disc or swat it down, and that was something that never really scared me. I was always able to juke people. Like I don't think anybody really ever intercepted the disc from me. I was fast and I could juke people quite effectively. And when I caught it, like I was still working on being able to perfect my throws. So it wasn't until like my second and third year that I became a more of a trusted handler of the disc. You still have to do lots of running as a handler, but you kind of get to sit back and watch things a little bit more, and pick where you want to throw it. And I remember there was games when I would huck the disc down the field, and I would score points in the end zone with somebody that like I knew would catch the disc, like because that's like why the team bonding is so important, because you get to learn how all the players are. And there's this one guy on the team, Danny, that he was so reliable. I knew, even if I didn't throw it perfectly, like he would go out of his way to like just hunt that disc down. And I got better at throwing it, so obviously he didn't have to do that. But like you'd have to like lead the receiver. You can't just throw it right at them. You have to like lead it to where you want them to go. And that's why we practice so much, because it's not easy to gauge that, and for them to like track the disc down. Because I mean, I don't know if you've ever thrown a frisbee before, but especially if it's windy, it is not always a good throw. There's a lot of unpredictable things that can happen with the disc. It can be like a laser, or it can be more of a lofty thing, and then you have to factor in like the curve of the throw. A lot of times the curve will make it go out of bounds, and you can't even catch the disc. So it's really interesting, whether you're on offense or defense, just to like watch all the throws. I think that's kind of just one of my favorite parts is, like especially if it is like a really good throw, it's really something to like to be like amazed by. You're just like, wow, like that was an awesome like laser, just straight to the end zone. I can't believe how like perfect that throw was. That happens, and it's so exciting, especially if you get like a lot of good throws right in a row. You feel so good. It's so rewarding to get like that play like down, and then do it again and again and again, and then you're in the end zone and you're all running different directions. The defense doesn't know where you're gonna throw it, and you get that one receiver that's just open, and you're just like, score. You throw it, and ooh, I miss those times. I miss it so much. It was so fun. And I remember there was a championship game my senior year. I had actually had to take a break from playing ultimate frisbee for a few months, because it was my senior year, and I had to make sure my grades were good. I mean, I knew I was going to graduate. Like I'd always gotten A's and B's, but for some reason, just trying to balance everything that year, I decided I needed to get my grades up better. So I took a break from playing frisbee, after school to like study or do homework or catch up on late work more than likely, and that was kind of tough on the morale. I felt bad and I felt kind of guilty for needing to do that, especially because like I came back to the team on the championship day, and I didn't expect them to like let me play because like I felt like it's not fair to get playtime out in the field after I'd had like months off, but apparently they trusted me, so I scored. I don't know if it was the game-winning point, but it was this really important point after a long drive down the field that was like almost it felt surreal when it happened because there was like a dog pile on top of the disc when it was thrown. I laid out for it and I snuck in through a gap of like other bodies that were trying to like swat it down or block me, and I just the precision of this catch and the feeling of having it secure and you land and you got the point, everybody's cheering, you're holding the disc, you're so happy. I just had to like tell this story out loud before I forgot. That's kind of just why I made this video. I don't know if it's seasonal depression, because it's winter right now, but I felt the need to sit down and have this video of a happy memory that I have, because I want to be able to look back and think about things that make me smile, and this is something that makes me smile. So I hope you enjoyed my story. Bye.